Less than a year ago, you could not buy toilet paper. I don't care how rich you were. I don't care how much money you made. I don't care who you knew. I don't care how bad you wanted it. You could not go to the store and just get you some toilet paper. What did we learn? What did that teach us? So I started to think, one, how do we provide for our material needs locally, sustainably, abundantly, without being dependent on money or money exchange for everything? So what I'm about to share with you is actually one of the oldest and coolest solutions in my book. It's not even something that we came up with. It's something that was given to us as creatures of nature, as creatures of God, whatever you want to call it. We were given this technology. This technology exists continuously around us, and we are not yet using it to its full capacity. So I hope to spread the seed of this idea to y'all, and y'all spread it further, plant these wherever you can. Most of our public spaces, parks, thoroughfares, areas between roads, our front lawns, our backyards, they have this stuff in it, and it's great. It's a lot of fun. Grass. We play games in it. Our dogs run around in it. Awesome. It is also a huge ecological liability, however, in that it consumes tons of water. It's the most water-intensive crop we produce in the U.S., and it is a crop. It is not natural. It is totally ecologically inappropriate to many, many areas of our country and this world, and it's maintained with tons of poisonous fertilizers which run off into our water. But instead of looking like this or doing all that harm, they could look something a little bit more like this. So let's learn more about food forests, also called forest gardens or agroforestry. What are they? Why should we want to help create one around us? Observe a forest. How does it exist and sustain itself? Full of plant and animal life without any human intervention. There's no fertilizing, no weeding, no watering, no pruning going on out there. There are no humans doing that work, at least. And yet massive amounts of food and other useful biomass are continuously produced, consumed, and recycled. It grows vertically using every ray of light falling on it for growth, and uses diversity to fill every possible niche. A huge web of life both feeds on and feeds into this highly efficient model of growth we call a forest. Now, food forests are agriculture and ecological systems which mimic the systematic structure and symbiotic relationships found in nature's forests, but which focus on using species which are directly useful for human and sometimes animal consumption, while also aiming to, like nature's forests, remain ecologically beneficial to their surrounding environments. In terms of overall productivity, this model of life working together symbiotically far surpasses our conventional models of agriculture in terms of nutrient density and plant health, diversity of production, sustainability, both soil stability, broader ecological stability, efficient resource use, as well as the stability provided by a nearly continuous harvest. It has the additional benefit of, unlike our contemporary conventional agriculture, being completely free from compelled monetary or chemical inputs, meaning that once it's established, it doesn't cost anything to maintain and you don't have to spray anything on it. Now, this is because instead of fighting against nature as you'd be doing with the lawn, you're actually working with it. So to clarify what role a food forest can play in our public life, let's look at two similar and related but different ways that we grow plants: community gardens and native plant landscapes. So what are the benefits and limitations of community gardens? One, they're communal gathering spaces. They support local food production and thus local health and resilience. They help people young and old educate themselves and come together, empower themselves through a connection with the earth and each other through one of our most ancient and life-giving communal practices, gardening. But they're often closed to the public, locked up, and many cost money to participate in. And even when that's not the case, they're usually focused on being spaces to grow more labor-intensive annual plants, which must be re-sown every year, and are usually designed on a mainly horizontal rather than a vertical pattern, meaning they spread out sideways and thus take up more square footage to get a yield than systems which grow vertically as well. And what about native plant landscapes? They're planted for public enjoyment, they're often open to all, they are low maintenance, they provide many ecosystem services which support local wildlife and pollinators, and which also help humans in many ways. They're also vertically oriented as well, but overall their purpose is not focused on maximizing food and medicine production or on directly using the plants to nurture human health. Public and even private food forests can build on the benefits and transcend the limitations of both models, taking what's beneficial from both in a complementary way. From community gardens, food forest stewards can learn to intentionally create and curate communal gatherings and engagement, volunteerism, exchange and education, as well as focusing on production for human needs, for local food and health security. From native plant landscapes, we can mimic the focus on plant, animal, and overall ecosystem health using low-maintenance native perennial plants adapted to our local conditions. We'll of course be growing vertically in a food forest, and in many cases we can also adopt their inherent openness to all comers, human and animal. Alright, sounds great, right? Who is this hippie talking about these pie-in-the-sky utopian ideas, blah blah blah, got you. Let's look at some examples that are ancient examples, modern examples, just to see that we are surrounded by this. It's already happening, it's already possible. The ancients have shown us the way, people around us are doing it, it's already within our reach. Ancient examples of using this technology on a sustainable and long-term scale include the potentially 8,000-year-old Mayan milpa system, which is still in practice today, as well as this amazing Moroccan food forest in the middle of an arid desert. Modern examples include the Beacon Hill Food Forest in Washington, the urban food forest at Brown's Mill in Atlanta, as well as the Stoneview Nature Center right here in LA. LA also has a fruit orchard at one of its parks, and an organization called Fallen Fruit which helps citizens to see the entire city as a food forest. So they're already out there, we don't need to reinvent any wheels. We've already been here and we're again already moving in that direction. But if you want some further motivation, there are some videos below you can watch, and stick around for part 2 of this video where I'm going to expand on the various benefits we can enjoy from food forests, especially public ones.